Well, the 2015 high school football season is underway. Hi again, everybody, and welcome back not only to a new year of Coach's Corner, but a new year of a new set for TISD TV Channel 19. We're here at the Career and Technology Center on the Earl Campbell Drive, and we've got not one but two studios that we're now working with, and so we'll be able to do over the course, hopefully, of this season and going forward, a whole bunch of new stuff that will enhance the shows. And Coach Darryl Piskey is with us. The Red Raiders playing their first home game this Friday night at Trinity Mother Frances Rose Stadium in the Trinity Mother Frances Kickoff Classic against the Lufkin Panthers. We'll get to that in a moment. Season opened this past week, Coach Piskey, and not in the way you wanted. You had some highlights in that game that we'll see in a bit, but didn't work out against Fossil Ridge quite like you wanted. They won 59-35. Heck of a first half. Second half, not quite as good, was it?
Yeah, that's right. That's what we talked about earlier. Offensively, first half looked pretty decent. Zach, had food poisoning and was losing a lot of fluids for about a day and a half before we started that. So he made it till about halftime. But like we talked about, Zach didn't play defense. And so, we got to fix the defense. We can't give up 59 points and expect to win the game.
Boys, as a coach, when somebody comes to you before the game and your quarterback's getting an IV, that's not a good feeling.
No, especially pregame. We're out there and Zach's not. I mean, even their guys were over there looking, and I was looking with them trying to figure out where he was. But, it's good to see him, come out. But, Chance, when he got in there, he did a pretty good job. Chance, we hadn't got to see him in live action yet. He wasn't at the scrimmage. So this was good, to get Chance some game action.
Again, a great start. Let's talk about what you liked. First of all, what was positive about the game?
Well, I like the way we came out of the locker room, and started the game. Offensively, we were clicking pretty good early, making some good reads, guys making things happen. Tyreek goes the distance. Our special teams looked really good early, both sides. Nearly every time they kicked it deep, we almost ran it back. So that put them in a bind there. Defensively, we just wasn't consistent early. They kept matching our scores, and we just got to get stops. We're not going to shut anybody out personnel-wise, but we just got to slow people down enough to get enough stops to win the football game. So at halftime, you're ahead 28-14, not behind. And
it's almost like tennis now, right? You got a whole serve, right?
That's right.
I mean, it's so wide open now.
Yeah.
That in that kind of, you get out of sync. Yeah, they're going to score, right?
That's right. And if we're going fast and we're giving them more snaps, which means you just got to get stops, and that's what most guys focus on nowadays, is getting stops and getting enough stops to give our offense a chance to outscore them.
Yeah. So has the definition of good defense changed?
Totally. I mean, really, not very many guys know that anymore. I mean, you look at the state championship games, and they're going to be 50-something to 30-something scores if you look back last year at this level. Because you got great athletes on both sides of the ball, but those great athletes out in space like everybody has now, I mean, it's hard to stop that guy all night long out in space. He's going to get some positive plays.
Once upon a time in the 1980s, Dangerfield played an entire season and gave up 6 points, I think, on the way to the state. On the way to state championship. Will we ever see that again?
It'll evolve back eventually.
You think?
Yeah, I may not be alive when it does, but especially if we keep getting up 59 points. But it's, it's going to evolve just like offense is going to evolve back to the running game. Eventually, somebody will get it figured out and get it stopped down, then everybody go back and run the football. Just like bell bottoms, they come back around every now and then. So eventually it will.
I've still got some old bell bottoms.
Yeah, I didn't want to say that out loud, but yeah.
I don't think waist-wise I'd fit into those bell bottoms, though. I don't think.
No, I'm not going to touch that.
Not going to touch that. Well, you talk about the running game. You're still running the ball, though.
That's right.
I mean, you're still running. It's just a different way to run the ball.
Yes, that's right. I mean, you spread guys and you get your doubles and stuff out there, and you got your secondary spread out. So once you break that initial wave, if people aren't fitting right on either side of the ball, the defense is in a bind, and that's how Tavon broke that long one, and that's how they broke some long ones on us on the run game, is we weren't fitting right or we missed a tackle, and now there's nobody else out there because there's so much space.
Okay, let's talk about the negative. What did you not like? What the negative?
Well, I didn't like our defense at all, and I didn't like the second half when they pooched the kick and we muffed the kick and give them, and all of a sudden they get 2 possessions back to back. But defensively, we've got to read our keys and we've got to fit right and we've got to tackle. And that's what I saw through watching a lot of film this weekend that we wasn't doing on Friday night.
Injury-wise, did you come out of it okay?
Came out pretty good. I can't think, you're always going to have bumps and bruises, but I can't think anything where anybody had to come out of the game and they were done.
The way that thing went down, I mean, the second half, just from a psychological point of view, how important does that make, even though it's a non-district game, how big does that make this Lufkin game this week?
Well, it just makes it huge from standpoint, number one, we're going to battle till the end. I was a little disappointed and frustrated that, we're not mentally tough enough or weren't mentally tough enough Friday night to overcome the continued mistakes on defense. So now we get our damper down offensively, and I don't care if Zach or Chance, whoever's in there, we got to continue to operate on our side, on the offensive side of the ball, and just keep scoring. I think we as a team got our minds not in a good place, and we kind of gave in to the fact that we couldn't stop them, but we didn't continue to fight trying to outscore them. Was what I saw.
All right, Coach Piskey brings along game video of the game against Fossil Ridge. There were a lot of offensive highlights in that ball game, so why don't we get to it? The Red Raiders again against the Fossil Ridge Panthers on Friday night. And here's the first play of the game.
First play of the game. That's not a bad way to start it. Tyreek's fast, but you look right here, and Dante Johnson, those guys, Mason Parker, they're chasing downfield. Dante had got a block earlier on this side, which is the opposite sidelines where he lines up at.
Here's another look at it.
So you look, and Dante's hustling his butt across the field. You see him on about the 25 right there chasing. Gets a little push on the guy right here, and Tyreek does the rest on his own. Mason's hustling down there trying to get in front of somebody.
This is the first play of the game.
First play of the game, which sometimes is not good when you start out like that.
Right.
If you can continue that momentum, that's great. But
Tyreek Grayson's he's a weapon. I mean,
yes, we got a lot
senior.
of them. Right here's Zach making his read, got a pull read. Early in the game, that's Zach. They can't tackle him. I didn't like the tackle right here, about broke his neck, but refs did a good job, called the flag.
That was a face mask penalty, wasn't it?
Yes.
So it's a great start offensively, and again, Zach, keep in mind, Zach had taken IV, had food poisoning. I mean, he was playing, he was sick. Now,
yeah, that's right.
If that's me, I'm in the bed at home, curled up,
yeah, probably.
And he's out there playing football. So
let mama give me soup or something.
Yeah, absolutely. All right, here you are.
Here we are again. Now this is Tavon off the edge, but you look off the edge, them guys are blocking their butts off. Barker released his guy a little bit too early, but that's what got him, just good, tough running, bury his head, getting the end zone.
He had 3 touchdowns.
But you look, Mason's coming off the ball. He's blocking his guy. You got your other guy over there blocking. Didn't do as well. I can't tell who that is. But Tavon, you get him at the 3 and lower his shoulder, he's going to get in the end zone. Defensive highlight here. That's Calhoun fitting good off the edge, making sure he's got him wrapped up. Really, he was a little late fitting, looking at his steps. The steps weren't right. But he made up for it by reading his key and reacting. Miller's got to use his hands there and not get cut. Miller, I was worried about him sideline to sideline. He's put on a lot of beef this summer. But, he had 14 tackles, so I was pretty proud of the way he was able to get the football. Up front, we're outside of samples. We're not real big, so we're going to just have to be little guys that just get after it, play technique, and get to the football.
So Campbell went up with 14 tackles.
Had 14 tackles, defensive MVP. Good news is right there, we break down, I think it's break down and make a tackle right there in the open field, but you see white shirts closing in at the proper angle. That's what we got to have.
But you can't do that occasionally. You got to do it
every time.
Every time. But that's the key, right?
That's right?
I mean, even in a game like Friday, there were highlights defensively.
That's right. And they're going to get in space, and you got to everybody's got to fit properly. They work that every day. We worked the dog snot out of it today, but you look right here, we played the bubble correctly. Dexter blew up through the outside guy. Now the problem is, you'll see it's not a highlight, but you saw early after they threw that a few times, our safety gets to worried about fitting too quick on that. He's got to play over the top of the pump, and they scored one on us like with that. But everybody's got to fit, and they got to understand their job. If I'm the safety, I'm not a fast fit because I've got a pass responsibility.
Is this the same play we're going to see again here?
Yeah, that's a wide angle.
There's Dexter
Green. See how that safety's bailing up there? Right. If we was in the film room, we'd replay that, but he can't bail up there that fast because it's not on our highlights evidently, right. But they throw the pump fake off. Back on the offense, that's a great cut by Dexter. That's one thing the backs did a pretty good job.
That's Day Thacker there.
Yeah, that's right.
You're right. Okay.
Did I call him Dexter?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's Day Thacker. The backs did a pretty good job of once they make that one cut, get vertical. Day still got a little bit because he's so fast that there go Tavon. Once Tavon made one cut, he got vertical. Not a lot of dancing. Let's just get to the end zone. Shows his speed's improved. Last year he'd have got caught after about 30, 40 yards, but his speed's improved, but he makes that one cut, gets vertical. That's what a running back's supposed to look like. Day can do that same thing.
I think he's poised to, Devon Wesley's poised to have a really good.
Oh yeah, he's going to be, he's done a great job. Another good defensive, that's Calhoun, playing his responsibility, making a play, but I think you saw about 7, 8 white hats or black hats around it.
Ray Calhoun is a senior linebacker.
That's right.
Who's been really playing for you for since his sophomore year.
Same thing right here. You know, Day, once he made that one cut, he got vertical, gained positive yards.
District committee granted Day's eligibility midweek last week, transferred from Jacksonville.
That's right.
And he's one of the fastest guys on your team, isn't he?
Yes, yeah, he is one of the fastest on the teams. Now right here, can't tell who that was. Got to bring his feet. But you look at our fits, there was a little inside alley. We got to clean that up, but our fits were a lot better there. Back on offense, you know, running back's doing a good job. You'll see on the wide angle, Day goes too low, misses the guy, but at least he throws at him. He's got to avoid him. By then, Tyreek's gone. Tavon's out there off the edge cutting, so they don't just get to carry it, they got to block also. Here's Chance Amy in the game now.
He's a sophomore.
Makes the correct read. Tavon does most of that on his own, gets in the end zone.
Talk about Chance Amy real quick.
You know, Chance got a chance. You know, Chance has got an opportunity to be a pretty good football player. He's done a good job this fall being coachable. We're back to the start now. Done a good job being coachable and learning. Now it's just a matter of getting enough reps, getting enough game time, you know, just to get better and better. But really, he looked really good in practice last week. Looked pretty good when he came in the football game.
How fast is this young man here?
He ran a 4.31, I believe, laser time at the APEC deal. So he's faster than you and I.
Yeah, faster than you and I. Yeah.
No, he, you know, Tyreek. It's funny. Most people that don't know, if you're watching this show, you probably know. Once they saw a 4.31 laser, even big schools start talking to him because that's really fast.
Yeah, that is fast.
He's quick as a cat. And that's the thing. Once he gets some space, it's hard. You know, it's hard to tackle him.
And he will be a slot receiver at the college level, right?
Yeah, that's right. You know, he's not really tall enough out there on the edge, but he's one of those guys, people that kind of do what we do, run the jet sweep and work that inside receiver. Most of the time they're going to be, you know, they can mismatch and get them on a linebacker.
Right.
Well, there's not a linebacker in America that's going to cover Tyreek unless he gets his hands on him. That'd be the only thing.
That young man there, Zach Hall, the expectations for him, he's coming back as the East Texas Player of the Year from the American State Bank Award. I mean, there's a lot of expectations on him, isn't there?
Yeah, that's right. But you know, he's got him on himself. You know, he doesn't want to just be satisfied with last year. He wants to get better, and he showed up from the very first day of fall camp. He's shown up. He's worked his tail off. He's been on time. He's led by example on how we got to be there and what we got to do.
There's Devon Wesley again. Devon's, you know, last year you had Devontae Craver, and he's not eligible this year because of age, but Devon Wesley is not only is he a good, and here's a great defensive play, but he's also a heck of a blocker. Now, that's Campbell Miller, I think, in Calhoun there teaming up on that tackle.
We're on the second round of these right now, just looking at them again. But, yeah, Tavon, he's going to be special. You know, he's getting some looks. People starting to get really interested in him, and I think when they see what he's going to do this year, because there's a difference. That first game, he didn't get caught. You know, last year he'd have got caught, so he's improved his speed. He works hard in the weight room. He's gotten more physical. You know, 190, 195 now. That's a pretty good tailback.
Yeah, I just like his attitude. He's just a worker.
He is. He's a winner. I mean, he's one of those kids you can count on. He's going to be there. He's going to do what he's coached to do, and he's going to work hard while he does it.
Well, I know he doesn't have the so-called blazing speed, but he's fast enough.
That's right.
And he gets yards.
That's right. Positive yards.
Positive yards.
He's not going to dance. He realizes his dancing, you know, he wouldn't win a dance contest, so he's going to run over your butt and be physical. And
sometimes the best plays are the ones where you just get back to the line of scrimmage, too.
That's right.
Where it's not 2nd and 15, it's 2nd and 10.
That's right.
There's the Dexter Green play again.
We tell them, hey, if you can just get 4 yards, that's a great football play. After 4 yards, everything's gravy after that.
Yeah, I mean it's there's plays that don't show up on the books as big plays, so-called. That are highlight plays
That's
that are just about as important as those 80-yard runs.
You look back at our poster. We do that game day poster every week.
Right.
And Tavon was on there every solid week. I don't think he missed a week with a bubble, and that's because of his blocking. He's not scared to block, so he's unselfish. Which is what you're looking for. A great tailback that's not selfish and willing to block, and I mean, you can't beat that.
And willing to share time with Thacker.
That's right.
He doesn't have to get 200 yards a game to feel like he's his value.
He don't have to carry it 40 times. He can carry it 20, 25 times, and have enough energy where in the fourth quarter he looks like he did in the first quarter.
And you're going to play him some too, are you not, at safety this year?
Yeah,
right?
probably going to have to. We've been working on it. We didn't get to do it much early from a standpoint of we didn't know, we had to wait to get the ruling on day to be able to know if we're going to have that depth at running back that we need. Now that we are, then Tavon, he worked some safety during the early part of fall camp, and so he'll continue to do that. Just to give us that depth in the secondary. And if he looks, through playing, if he looks like he's one of the best too, then crunch time, he'll be in defense, he'll be at safety.
Well, are we done with the highlights? I think we probably are. And again, the final score was 59-35 Fossil Ridge. Pretty good football team. Acknowledge that they're a pretty good-looking football team.
They played 3 or 4 rounds last year.
Right.
They'll probably go, a few rounds this year. So we don't have any easy ones, in this preseason, but you don't want any. I mean, you want to find our weaknesses. We saw it. We're not reading our keys. We're not playing defense. We got to fix it.
Yeah, I mean, there's no, and the district's tough enough that you need to know. If you're going to find out, that's what these district games are. Better to find out now than against Garland 4 or 5 weeks down the road, right?
That's right. Don't play a soft one where you think you're really good and then you get there and you're not ready.
Do you see that a lot in high school football? I mean, scheduling is a big deal, and I know that's, coaches have to make decisions, but you don't have any gimmies.
No.
I mean, you're talking non-district schedule include those guys.
Yeah.
Lufkin this week and JT next week.
Yeah.
Those are that's three pretty good football teams.
But that's good. I mean, that's what we want. We want to get to the point to where we're playing Euless Trinity on ESPN and competing with them, and so to do that, you got to play good people, and eventually you get your program to where every year hey, we're going to play the best. You look at Aledo, they got beat by Cedar Park. Does that mean Aledo's done? They're not going to chase the championship this year?
Right.
Not in Aledo's mind. They know what they got to fix to get ready to make another run at a championship, and that's what we got to get to.
All right, let's just as you prep for how much improvement? I've heard this old cliche. Go from week 1 to week 2. I mean, is that true?
You always make your most improvement from that first game to that second game. Now we're going to have to triple that factor defensively, and really it's just got to be night and day difference. Looking at Lufkin's skill kids, they're going to have some opportunities to make plays. Their line's good. Their quarterback can go. Their running back can go. Of course, they always have receivers that can go. But we got to make sure we're fitting right and tackling right, not giving up the big plays continuously. They're going to get a big play every now and then, just like we're going to get a big play every now and then. But we just got to, for this week, we want to read our keys. We want to fit where we're supposed to fit. We want to tackle. If we can do that, the outcome of the game, we're going to have a chance to win the football game.
They got to beat 21-20 at Longview on Friday night. What happened in that game? You saw
about 35 seconds left, they scored, and Longview blocked their extra point. And and the thing about it is it was off the edge. So it wasn't like they got leakage up the middle. It was just off the edge, and the kicker's a little slow. And so, they got the extra point block and lose the football game. I think they beat them last year by 1 in the playoffs, Longview did. So Lufkin's going to be in a bad mood, but you know what? We're in a bad mood too.
I was going to say, 2 teams are in a bad mood, right?
Somebody's going to get in a good mood. Somebody's going to continue their bad mood.
These home games, just talk about, this coming home to play a game and being in your own facility for the first time and what it feels like to be at home at Rose Stadium.
Well, hopefully it'll be a good atmosphere. Number one, that 3-hour bus ride over there, you got to leave earlier than you'd like to leave. We did last week just because you can't anticipate what the traffic's going to be like through Dallas-Fort Worth. So we got there a little earlier than we normally like to get there on our routine. So then you got to deal with, doing things with them there to keep their mind right. Their JV, the Keller High School's JV was actually practicing on the field when we got there. So you can't do your normal get off the bus, go walk the field, doing all that stuff. So it's a little different. So playing at home is going to be a lot nicer. We'll be sitting right over here in our field house, having team meetings, doing pregame stuff, and then we'll just jump on the bus, roll over there, and get ready to play football.
What about what does it mean to have good crowd support at home? Just as an appeal to the fans to come out on Friday
Well, you noticed
night.
last year, it's funny, my older son, middle son, last night, my wife were talking about it. He had been to an early game before we started winning, and noticed the crowd, it's like a social event, just kind of sitting up there on their hands. And that's what my wife was explaining to him. But think about the difference. Once we started playing well and winning, they ought to actually started where you can hear the crowd. Really, we ought to be able to hear the crowd as a whole versus being able to hear what some individual hollers from the stands. I mean, that means your crowd's not very loud if you can hear that one guy hollering how dumb you are. So we got to get, if they want to holler in unison, that's one thing. But we got to get to where, our guys are like fans are where like last year. But to do that, we got to put a product on the field that they're excited to get behind and cheer.
Who are the players of the week for you this week?
Campbell Miller on defense. He actually had 14 tackles. Like I said before, he did a lot better sideline to sideline than I thought he would. On special teams was Chris Bloss, mainly for his punting and his pooch kicks. He did a good job on his kickoffs. I don't think they had a return very deep at all on the kickoff. And he got to get his deep kick a little better and get it over their head. But punting-wise, he did a great job on his punting. You were using that rugby-style kick, there shouldn't be a return. He handled one bad snap late in the game, did a good job with that, so he was our special teams. Offensively, I'm pretty sure it was Tavon Wesley, but him and Tyreek both had great football games. But I think I've got so many names going through my mind, but I think I emailed Tavon Wesley in as the player of the game. He had a great game, but good news is offensively had a couple of guys to choose from.
O-line, we haven't talked about those guys yet. You've got a couple of new starters up there. Let's talk about the O-line.
Yeah, really, if I had to say who, out of all the guys, who surprised us the most, and I mean this positive, is Clayton Breckel. He played a good football game.
Very good.
He's not the most athletic guy. He's kind of like he's not going to win a dance contest either, but he got off on the football and got in their grill and just stayed after them. A couple of the guys that had a lot of experience last year didn't play very good. So, we go from depressed on Friday night to watching the film on Saturday, realizing that our best two linemen didn't play very well, so we're going to be fine up front. We don't have a whole lot of size, so we're going to have to just get people's, get up in them, and we're going to have to just stay on them like little gnats and let those skill guys that have some agility make cuts and get in space and go.
The interesting thing about young Clayton, he was on the JV last year as a junior.
Yeah, that's right.
Which is a prime, about hanging in there, right?
That's right.
And persevering. Juniors don't like to be on the junior varsity, right?
Yeah,
that's one of those things they really don't like that much,
that's
right? And you can understand that.
Yeah, I've been there.
Yeah.
And that's always my example of those juniors. Fact is, the guy that's always my introduction to my example came and saw me at halftime. A kid named Ernest Martinez. My junior year, I'm in the secondary, and we had 4 seniors returning. Coach Johnson called me in. George Johnson called me in after 2 days. Said, "Look, you deserve to be on the varsity, but I'm going to tell you about Ernest Martinez." And he told me about Ernest. He played on the JV as a junior, made all-district as a senior. I said, "Coach, I just want to play football and get better."
Right.
So I followed Ernest, and I told him last night, or halftime the other night when he came to see me, I said, "Hey, I give you an example every year about staying on that JV and just getting better." And that's what Clayton's done. He didn't moan about it. He just stayed down there and played football and got better, and now he's, starting on the varsity.
Yeah, you get the reps. That's what
right.
you're looking for, right?
That's right.
And I guess, that's the one thing about playing a game. We talked about game 1 and game 2. You can practice against each other. You can go through all the workouts. You can scrimmage like you did against Marshall 2 weeks ago. But until they turn the lights on,
that's right,
and the scoreboard on,
yeah,
and there are no mulligans, as they say in golf, right? Your bad
right.
plays, too bad, it's up on the board.
Yeah, that's right.
There's no way to prepare for that other than to play the game, right?
That's right. And just the speed of a game and the longevity of the game, the conditioning. I thought overall, I thought our conditioning wasn't bad overall. Just comparing it to Fossil Ridge, looked like they were just as tired as we were. Difference was they was ahead, so they didn't feel near as tired, and they fought through it. I felt like better than us. And so that's what we got to continue to work on. But overall, I thought our conditioning, outside of Zach, looked like he's going to die on the sidelines over there.
Yeah.
Everybody else looked pretty good. I just want to see a little more fight out of us when it gets late in the game like that. And I don't mean physically fighting, but I mean just effort-wise. Just continue to battle to that last whistle, and we'll let the good Lord worry about what the results are.
Your realignment's coming this year, so you'll be looking for another non-district opponent. Might it be Fossil Ridge, or will you look around?
I'm going to look around because I talked to Tony the other night before the game and after the game, just trying to look. That travel's pretty hard. Our freshman guys got back about 2 in the morning on Thursday night.
Hard 2.5 hour drive out there.
Oh, for sure 2.5.
Yeah.
If you're on a yellow dog like those freshmen were, it was about 3 hours and 10 or 20 minutes.
Right.
With traffic, and you get your kids home on Thursday night, and like I say, the freshman team got home and probably 2 o'clock, and then they got to get up and be at school the next morning, we'll just look at our options, see what best fits. I wouldn't mind playing them. They're a great football team every year, and he's got that program to where, they're going to make a playoff run every year, and you want to play folks like that. But if I can find one of those closer, 6A closer that can do that for us, then that'll be good.
People don't realize, though, we're stuck in East Texas, the only 6A in East Texas.
That's right.
Scheduling is not the easiest thing in the
No,
world,
it's a challenge. I know there's a lot of good 5As, around, some really good football teams, and we play some of those. You try to look around, find guys, match up numbers-wise for your sub-varsities and all that. So it'll be, that's one of the challenges we're going to have. The good news is, until we start winning playoff games, if you call them, they normally won't play you. So we'll have to make that where they avoid our phone calls.
That means you're good, right?
Well, when they start avoiding you, you're a lot better.
What do you expect on Friday night from Lufkin?
Well, Lufkin's going to be Lufkin. I mean, they're going to be athletic. They're going to be very big, physical. They get after it. They got a lot of speed. And so we're going to have to, offensively, they're going to get us some. Their defense is good. They move around. They fly to the football. We just got to be patient offensively, read our keys, take care of the football, don't turn it over. Special teams has got to continue to improve from where they were last week. We had a couple of mistakes on them last week, but overall they were a lot better than they were week 1 of last year. Defensively, I just want to see us reading our keys, fitting right, and tackling. And if we can do that, we're going to get some stops, and that's what we got to do. We got to get our minds set right defensively. Talking to them this morning is we just got to get stops. To do that, we got to be in position to make plays, and then we got to make them.
Well, and again, that game is at 7:30 on Friday night. Again, a plug for the Trinity Mother Frances Kickoff Classic, which is a great event. It is this week, and the Thursday night game this week is White House against Chapel Hill at the stadium. Then on Friday night at 7:30, Robert E. Lee against Lufkin, and then Saturday night at 7 o'clock, John Tyler against Longview. So 3 really good football games. A general admission $10 ticket will get you all 3 games. Now, I don't know about you, but I think that's pretty good entertainment value. That's $3.33 or $3.34, maybe one of the games. But anyway, that's a pretty cheap ticket for some really good football. And 3 games for $10 this weekend, or pick one. But either way, there are 3 really good games. The Trinity Mother Frances Kickoff Classic this weekend at the stadium. And Friday night, it's the Red Raiders against the Lufkin Panthers at 7:30. And Coach Piskey and the Red Raiders need and deserve your support in their home opener. For Coach Piskey and the Red Raiders, I'm Bill Coates. Thanks for joining us.